Hello everyone, Sir Do-It-All here. I had recently acquired a 12 kilowatt backup generator for my house. And I got it for a really great deal, I might add. This is just me showing the more comical side of my personality in hopes to make my videos more enjoyable to viewers. Anyway, for obvious reasons, I felt that this generator installation would be a culturally relevant process to document. I did perform the installation with just my own two hands. However, I did consult with two professionals to confirm different elements of my plan. The project was both fun and challenging, and I hope it inspires viewers to get out and do stuff. So without further ado, let me now begin. In this video series, I will show and describe how I set the generator in place, how I piped the natural gas line, how I quieted the generator's exhaust, and how I wired the generator to my house. So come along with me on this quest to install my generator. It's gonna be good. Trust me. Part 1. Setting the generator in place. I began preparing the location for the generator by stringing a mason line parallel to my house, allowing adequate servicing space around the generator. Off of this mason line, I squared up a rectangular outline at the dimensions of the generator base. Using a flat blade landscape shovel, I cut out and removed the sod from the rectangular outline. After this, I used the same shovel to remove about an inch of the topsoil. I then placed this topsoil back into the hole to use as a leveling medium. The way I did this was to use a 24-inch level to screed across the loose soil north to south and east to west. This generator and its housing together weigh approximately 500 pounds. So it took the help of my eldest son to help me maneuver it into place. There would have been no way to slide it directly across the ground without tearing up the lawn, so I had to think of a better way. The way we did it was to simply lay down a series of 2x4s and slide the whole assembly eastward like a monorail cart, balancing it on its center as we moved it along. Once adjacent to the designated spot, I placed a piece of plywood across the carved out spot in the lawn and slid the generator northward until it reached the north edge of the hole. Once in this position, I tipped the entire generator toward the house as my son pulled out the sheet of plywood. I then let it down into place, and after this, I stomped around the perimeter of the generator base to tamp it down a bit, and then it was all set. Good to go, right? Well, that's the first step. Piping the natural gas. The placement of the generator was within 10 feet of my gas meter, so I didn't need to purchase a whole lot of pipe to complete the plumbing. The outlet from my gas meter is plumbed to a 3/4 inch pipe that runs down and then through the block wall of my foundation. It was here that I tied into the natural gas service. However, before I did any plumbing, I first dug a trench in which to lay the manifold that would eventually supply gas to the generator. Here you see me using a post hole digger to start the layout of the trench. You can use whatever tool you want. This is just what I decided to use. As I got a bit deeper, I opted to use the straight edge of a pickaxe to chop up the harder clay soil, and then use the post hole digger to remove the dirt. Now here you see me lining up the main run to cut it to length and rethread it. Now I happen to own an electric pipe threader, so this task is easier for me than for someone without a pipe threader. If I didn't have a pipe threader, what I would have done was cut out a section of the pipe and weld the threaded end back onto the pipe at the overall length I needed. This would also achieve 2 threaded ends. If you don't own a welder or a pipe threader, I would suggest first measuring out all your pipe lengths and then purchasing your pipe from one of the specialty hardware stores like Ace Hardware, Do It Best Hardware, True Value Hardware, etc. These specialty hardware stores will cut and thread your pipe for you. Then all you have to do is put it all together. If you measured everything correctly, that is. Whatever tools you have at your disposal for plumbing up a serviceable manifold to your appliances, I suggest you include plenty of coupling unions in your manifold design. They make the installation much easier. Here in the case of my installation, I used 2 unions in the design so that I could build the entire manifold before setting it in place. Notice that I placed the shutoff valve on the supply side of the union near the inlet of the generator, so that the generator is capable of being disconnected properly if ever the need came to service the generator off-site. So as it came time to tie into the gas line, I first had to modify my adjustable wrench in order for it to span the nut on the meter union. After modifying the wrench, I first turned off the gas supply coming into the meter. Then I began loosening the union nut. Disconnecting this union allowed me to loosen and remove the vertical pipe and the elbow leading to my house supply line. In place of a 90-degree elbow, I mounted a T-fitting to split off toward the generator. There I installed a short pipe nipple and the female half of the union fitting. I did the same to the inlet of the generator. Here I am setting the manifold and tightening the union fittings together. Next, I reattached the outlet union on the meter and then opened the valve on the supply line. At this point, since the gas water heater is off and the kitchen stove is off, I should not hear any sound of gas flow through the meter. If you hear a slight shushy ringing sound in the meter, you've likely got a leak somewhere in the plumbing. Now I have pretty good hearing, and I'm able to hear gas flow through the meter when just the pilot light is on my water heater. I'm now listening for any gas flow, and it is completely silent. So my plumbing job was successful. Alright, on to the next thing.